The ship touched down on red soil under a purple sky. Captain Deho watched through the window as crowds gathered around the landing pad. He had seen many alien worlds in his 20 years of service, but this one made his heart beat faster. This was Vrax Prime, home to the most dangerous predators in known space. "Ready?" asked Corporal Bowman, checking his weapon one last time. Deho nodded. He wore the best armor Earth could make. It could stop bullets, energy blasts, and even acid. The engineers promised it would protect him from anything. He hoped they were right. The door opened with a hiss. Hot air rushed in, carrying strange smells. Deho walked down the ramp with his team behind him. 20 human soldiers followed, all wearing the same heavy armor. They looked strong and ready for anything. The Vrax waited at the bottom. They stood on 4 legs, each one thick as a tree trunk. Their bodies were covered in scales that shimmered in the sunlight. Long tails moved behind them like whips. Their heads sat on powerful necks filled with teeth that could crush steel. They were beautiful and terrifying at the same time. An old Vrax stepped forward. His scales were darker than the others, almost black. Scars covered his body, showing he had lived through many battles. He opened his mouth and spoke in a voice like grinding rocks. "Welcome, humans. I am Elder Voth. We are honored by your visit." Deho bowed his head, showing respect. "Thank you, Elder. I am Captain Deho. Earth sends its greetings to your people." The translation device on his collar turned his words into sounds the Vrax could understand. Technology made this moment possible. Without it, they would just be making noise at each other. More Vrax gathered around. Some were warriors with battle armor attached to their scales. Others wore jewelry and flowing cloth, probably nobles or leaders. Young ones pushed through the crowd, curious about the strange visitors from another world. "Please follow me," Elder Voth said. "We have prepared a ceremony to welcome you properly." The procession moved through the city. Buildings rose around them, carved from red stone. They looked old, built by claws and patience over many generations. Vrax citizens stopped to watch the humans pass. Some growled softly. Others just stared with their golden eyes. Deho tried to stay calm. Every instinct in his body screamed danger. These creatures were predators. Evolution had made them perfect killers. One adult Vrax could tear through a squad of soldiers before going down. The report said they once ate other intelligent species before joining the galactic community. Now they followed laws and traded with other worlds, but their nature had not changed. They reached a large plaza. Thousands of Vrax filled the space, sitting on their haunches or standing on powerful legs. A platform stood in the center, raised above the crowd. Elder Voth climbed up, moving with surprising grace for such a large creature. He gestured for Deho to join him. Deho walked up the steps. His boots rang against the stone. The armor felt heavy suddenly. He stood next to the elder and looked out at the sea of scales and teeth. This was it. First contact. The moment that would decide if humans and Vrax could be friends or would remain strangers. Elder Voth began to speak. His voice carried across the plaza, strong and clear. He talked about unity and cooperation, about how different species could learn from each other, about building a future together. It was a good speech, full of hope. Deho listened carefully. He prepared his own words in his mind. When the elder finished, it would be his turn to speak. He had practiced the speech 100 times on the ship. He knew every word by heart. Then something moved at the edge of his vision. A young Vrax pushed through the crowd. It was small, maybe only the size of a horse. Just a child by their standards. But even young, it had claws and teeth and the instincts of a hunter. It moved toward the platform, faster and faster. The adult Vrax tried to stop it. They called out warnings. But the young one did not listen. Its eyes locked on Deho. Something in its brain said pray. Something primitive and powerful took over. It jumped. The young Vrax flew through the air like a missile. Deho barely had time to turn before it hit him. The impact knocked him off his feet. They crashed to the platform together, rolling across the stone. Pain exploded through his body. Claws scraped against his armor, looking for weak points. The young Vrax bit down on his shoulder. Its teeth found the joint where the armor pieces connected. Metal screamed as it bent and tore. Deho heard shouting. His soldiers raised their weapons. The Vrax elders roared commands. But everything seemed far away, muffled by the sound of his own heartbeat in his ears. The young Vrax ripped away a piece of armor. Then another. It worked with terrible efficiency, finding every weakness, every gap. The engineers had been wrong. The armor could not stop this. Nothing could stop this. More pieces fell away. The chest plate split in half. The arm guards clattered to the ground. In seconds, Deho's protection lay in ruins around him. He lay on the cold stone, exposed and vulnerable. The young Vrax stood over him, breathing hard. Its mouth dripped with saliva. Its claws extended fully, ready to finish what it started. The creature's eyes were wild, lost in hunting instinct. The plaza had gone completely silent. Thousands of Vrax watched. 20 human soldiers pointed their weapons, fingers on triggers. Elder Voth stood frozen, his face showing horror and shame. This was supposed to be a peaceful meeting. A new beginning for both species. Instead, it was about to become a bloodbath. If the young Vrax killed Deho, the humans would fire. The Vrax would defend their child. War would begin right here, right now. Everyone waited to see what would happen next. The moment stretched out, lasting forever. Deho lay in his ruined armor, looking up at the predator above him. The young Vrax lowered its head, growling deep in its throat, and then Deho moved. Deho sat up slowly. Pieces of broken armor fell from his body, clattering against the stone. He brushed dust off his uniform underneath. The young Vrax took a step back, confused. Its head tilted to one side. "You done?" Deho asked. His voice was calm, almost bored. The creature made a small sound, something between a whine and a growl. It did not understand. The prey was supposed to be dead. The prey was supposed to scream and bleed and stop moving. But this prey just sat there looking at it with dark eyes. Deho stood up. He moved carefully, not wanting to startle the young one. Blood ran from small cuts on his arms and face, but nothing serious. The armor had done its job well enough. It kept him alive long enough to show what came next. "Easy now," he said softly. "You're just scared, I get it." New things are scary. The young Vrax backed up another step. Its claws scraped against stone. The creature's tail whipped back and forth, showing agitation. Around the plaza, adult Vrax remained frozen. They did not know what to do. This human should be torn apart. This human should be dying. But he stood there like nothing happened. Corporal Bowman kept his weapon raised. "Sir, permission to—" "Stand down," Deho said, not looking away from the young Vrax. "Everyone stand down." "That's an order." "But Captain—" "Now, Corporal." Bowman lowered his weapon slowly. The other soldiers did the same, though their hands stayed ready. They trusted their captain, but this seemed insane. A Vrax had just attacked him. They should be fighting, not waiting. Elder Voth found his voice. "Captain Deho, I apologize. This is unforgivable. The young one will be punished severely." "We will—" "No," Deho interrupted. He still watched the creature. "No punishment. It's just a kid. Kids make mistakes. It attacked you. It destroyed your armor. By our laws, by my judgment, it was an accident. Look at it." Deho gestured at the young Vrax. "It's terrified. It thought I was prey because I smell different. Because I look different. It just reacted." The young Vrax growled again, but softer this time. Its body language changed slightly. The tail stopped whipping so hard. The claws retracted a little. It watched Deho with those golden eyes, trying to figure him out. Deho took a step forward. Several Vrax gasped. His soldiers tensed, but he kept moving, slow and steady. He held out his hand, palm down. A universal gesture of peace. "Come here," he said gently. "Let's start over. My name is Deho. What's yours?" The young Vrax did not move. It stared at his hand like it might be a trick. Minutes passed. The whole plaza held its breath. This moment would change everything, one way or another. Then the young Vrax took a step forward. Then another. It moved toward Deho's outstretched hand, sniffing carefully. Its nose was wet and cold like a dog's. Up close, Deho could see the creature was still growing. Its scales did not fit quite right yet. It had big feet it had not grown into. Just a child, really. The young one touched its nose to Deho's palm. Then it pulled back quickly, startled by its own boldness. But nothing bad happened. The human did not attack. Did not yell. Just stood there, patient and calm. "Good," Deho said. "See, not so scary." He reached out again, moving very slowly. This time he touched the creature's head, right between its eyes. The scales felt smooth and warm. The young Vrax froze, every muscle tight. But Deho just rubbed gently, making small circles with his fingers. Something amazing happened. The young Vrax's eyes closed halfway. Its body relaxed. A rumbling sound came from deep in its chest, like a purr, but lower, more powerful. The tail started to wag just a little bit. Elder Voth made a strangled sound. Around the plaza, Vrax began to whisper among themselves. They had never seen anything like this. Young ones did not relax around other species. They did not purr for strangers. They certainly did not wag their tails in happiness. Deho kept petting the creature. He found a spot behind its ear that made the purring louder. The young Vrax leaned into his touch, wanting more. Its eyes closed completely now. It looked peaceful, almost sleepy. "What is your name?" Deho asked again, speaking to Elder Voth but not looking away from the young one. "Krell," the elder said weakly. "His name is Krell. He is my grandson." "Hello, Krell," Deho said. "You're a good boy, aren't you? Just got a little excited." Krell made a happy sound and pushed his head harder against Deho's hand. The captain smiled. He had grown up with dogs on Earth. His family had 3 of them when he was young. He knew this body language. He understood what the creature wanted. Deho scratched harder, using his nails to get between the scales. Krell's back leg started to kick, an involuntary response to the good feeling. Then slowly the young Vrax lowered himself to the ground. He rolled onto his back, exposing his belly. A position of complete trust and submission. The crowd erupted. Vrax shouted in their language, sounds of shock and disbelief. Some of the warriors took aggressive stances, not understanding what they witnessed. Others simply stared, their minds unable to process what their eyes saw. Deho knelt down and rubbed Krell's belly. The young Vrax's legs kicked in the air. His tail thumped against the stone like a drum. He made happy noises that sounded almost like laughter. Bowman walked up slowly, his weapon lowered. "Sir, what exactly are you doing?" "Making a friend," Deho said simply. "That thing just tried to kill you. He's a kid. He made a mistake. Now he knows better." Deho looked up at his corporal. "Besides, look at him. Does he look dangerous right now?" Bowman had to admit the creature did not. It looked like a giant puppy, playing and happy. Its claws were retracted. Its teeth were hidden behind lips pulled back in what might be a smile. Hard to see this as the same beast that had shredded military-grade armor seconds ago. Elder Voth approached carefully. His old body moved stiffly, shocked by what he witnessed. He looked down at his grandson, then at Deho, then back again. "How did you do this?" the elder asked. "Krell is wild even for a young one. He does not trust easily. He does not submit to anyone except his mother. How did you make him behave this way?" Deho shrugged. "I just treated him like what he is, a young creature looking for guidance and affection. He attacked because he was scared and confused. So I showed him he had nothing to fear. I showed him I could be trusted." "But you are prey," Voth said, confused. "Your species did not evolve as predators. You have no claws, no fangs, no armor on your body. You are soft and weak. How can you dominate my grandson?" Deho stood up, leaving Krell rolling happily on the ground. He looked the elder in his golden eyes. "Elder Voth, I think we need to talk about humans. You seem to have some wrong ideas about us." He smiled, showing his own teeth. "We're not prey. We never were, and I think it's time the galaxy learned that." The meeting moved inside. Elder Voth led them to a large chamber carved from red stone. Sunlight came through windows high above, painting everything in warm colors. Cushions lay scattered around the room for the Vrax to rest on. Chairs were brought in for the humans. Krell followed Deho everywhere. The young Vrax walked at his side, bumping against his leg occasionally. When Deho sat down, Krell lay at his feet, watching him with adoring eyes. The other Vrax stared at this strange sight, but said nothing. A female Vrax entered the room. She was smaller than the warriors, but moved with deadly grace. Her scales were lighter, almost silver. She rushed to Krell and sniffed him all over, checking for injuries. When she found none, she turned to Deho. Her eyes burned with anger. "You touched my son," she growled. "Explain yourself before I tear you apart." "Mireille, no." Elder Voth stepped between them. This human saved Krell's life. If he had let his soldiers shoot, our young one would be dead. The female, Mireille, hesitated. She looked at Krell, then at Deho. Her tail lashed dangerously. "My son attacked him. I saw. His armor is destroyed. Why did you not defend yourself, human?" Deho remained calm. "Because I understood. He was scared and confused. He reacted on instinct. I'm not going to punish someone for being afraid." "You are strange," Mireille said. She sat down, but her body stayed tense. Your species is very strange. More vraks filed into the chamber. Warriors, scholars, nobles. They all wanted to see the humans who had survived an attack. They wanted to understand what happened in the plaza. The room filled with the sound of their breathing, deep and powerful. A small human woman entered last. She wore a white coat instead of armor. Her hair was tied back neatly. She carried a data pad and looked excited. This was Dr. Minji, the team's xenobiologist. "Captain," she said, barely containing her enthusiasm. "I need to examine that young one. What you did was remarkable. Impossible, actually. I need to understand how." "Later, Doctor," Daeho said. "First we talk." Elder Voth settled onto his cushion. Other elders joined him, forming a half-circle. They were the leaders of the Vrax people, the ones who made decisions for billions. Right now, they looked confused and curious in equal measure. "Captain Daeho," Voth began, "you said we have wrong ideas about humans. Please explain." Daeho thought about how to start. This was important. The words he chose now would shape the relationship between their species forever. He needed to make them understand without seeming threatening. "Elder, what do you know about Earth? About where humans come from?" "We know it is a small world in a quiet sector," Voth said. "We know your species is young, only recently achieving space travel. We know you have no claws or natural weapons. Your bodies are fragile compared to most species. You need tools to survive." "That's all true," Daeho agreed. "But you're missing something important. Earth is not a safe world. It's one of the most dangerous planets in known space." The Vrax shifted, interested. One of the warriors spoke up. "Dangerous how? Are there predators larger than us?" "Yes," Daeho said simply. "Much larger. We have creatures called elephants that weigh 6 tons. Bears that can run faster than you and bite hard enough to crush skulls. Big cats that hunt in the darkness. Snakes with venom that kills in minutes. Spiders, crocodiles, sharks. Our oceans alone have creatures that could swallow a Vrax whole." Minji stepped forward, activating her data pad. Images appeared in the air, holographic projections of Earth's animals. The Vrax leaned in, studying each one. "This is a polar bear," Minji said, showing a massive white creature. 3 meters tall, can smell prey from 30 kilometers away, hunts other predators for food. She swiped to another image. "This is a saltwater crocodile, 7 meters long, bite force strong enough to break steel, hides underwater and drags prey down to drown." "Impressive," one of the Vrax elders said. "But you said you have no weapons. How do you survive against such beasts?" "We don't just survive," Daeho said. "We conquered them, every single one. Humans are the apex predators on Earth. Nothing hunts us anymore. We made sure of that." "How?" Mireille demanded. "You are small and weak." Minji brought up another image. A human holding a spear. "Tools," she said. "We made weapons. Sharp stones, then metal blades, then guns. We made traps and armor and fire. We used our intelligence." "Many species use tools," Voth said. "That does not make you predators." "You're right," Daeho agreed. "Tools alone aren't enough, but we have something else. Something that makes us unique." He paused, making sure everyone was listening. "We form packs." The room went quiet. Pack behavior was sacred to the Vrax. It was how they understood the world. Strong packs survived. Weak ones died. But humans were not pack animals. Everyone knew that. "Impossible," a warrior said. "Your species is not built for packs. You do not have the instincts." "We do," Minji said. She brought up new images. Humans lived in tribes for millions of years, groups of 20 to 100 individuals. We hunted together, fought together, raised our young together. We developed complex communication to coordinate, language, gestures, even facial expressions. We became the best pack hunters on Earth. Daeho continued the explanation. But we did something no other species did. We didn't just form packs with other humans. We formed them with other predators. "You lie," Mireille hissed. Predators do not pack with prey species. It is impossible. Watch, Deho said. He activated his own data pad. A video played showing a human and a dog. The dog was big, with thick fur and sharp teeth. It ran alongside the human, both of them chasing something through the forest. This is a wolf, Minji said. One of Earth's top predators. Fast, strong, hunts in packs, very dangerous. But humans domesticated them. We made them our partners. Now we call them dogs, and they live in our homes like family. More videos played. Dogs guarding human children. Dogs helping humans herd other animals. Dogs sitting in laps, getting petted and fed treats. The Vraks watched in stunned silence. We did this 30,000 years ago, Deho said. We took wild wolves and made them love us. We used food and kindness and patience. We showed them we could be trusted. And they chose us over their own kind. They became part of our packs. But how? An elder asked. What power do you possess to dominate predators this way? Minji smiled. Social intelligence. Humans are incredibly good at reading emotions and body language. We can understand what other creatures feel and want. We can make them feel safe and loved. It's how we survived on Earth, by turning potential enemies into allies. The young one, Voth said slowly, understanding dawning. Krell. You did this to Krell. I treated him like a dog, Deho admitted. Because his behavior was similar. He was scared and aggressive because he didn't understand me. So I showed him I wasn't a threat. I gave him affection and praise. I made him feel good. And his instincts took over. He accepted me as a pack leader. Krell, hearing his name, lifted his head. He looked at Deho and made a happy sound. His tail wagged against the floor. The young Vraks had no idea how much his behavior was changing galactic politics. This is why you did not fight back, Mirai said quietly. You knew. From the first moment you knew you could do this to my son. I hoped I could, Deho corrected. I wasn't certain, but I've worked with animals my whole life. I know how to read them. I saw the signs. Krell wasn't trying to kill me. He was testing me, trying to figure out where he fit in the hierarchy, so I showed him. An old female elder spoke up. Her voice shook with age and emotion. We thought we were the hunters. We thought your kind would be weak and easy to intimidate. We were wrong. You're not wrong about everything, Deho said gently. We are physically weaker than Vraks. In a fair fight, you would win. But humans don't fight fair. We stack the odds in our favor. We make friends, build alliances, use strategy. We're social predators, the most successful kind. The room stayed silent for a long time. The Vraks were processing this new information, rearranging their understanding of the universe. They had thought they knew how things worked. Now everything seemed different and uncertain. 3 days passed. The humans stayed in a compound near the Vraks' capital city. During that time, Krell refused to leave Deho's side. The young Vraks followed him everywhere, even trying to squeeze into his small quarters at night. Eventually, Deho gave up and let him sleep at the foot of his bed. Mirai visited every day. At first, she came to check on her son. She worried that the human had done something harmful to Krell's mind, but after watching them together, her concerns changed to curiosity. Show me again, she said on the third morning. They stood in the compound's courtyard, watching Krell play with a ball the humans had brought from their ship. Deho threw the ball across the yard. Fetch! He called. Krell bounded after it, his large body moving with surprising speed. He grabbed the ball in his jaws and ran back, dropping it at Deho's feet. His tail wagged so hard his whole back end moved. Deho rubbed his head and threw the ball again. He loves it, Mirai said, amazed. He has never played like this before. Young ones usually only practice hunting. They do not play games. Play is how predators learn, Deho explained. It teaches coordination, timing, social bonding. Dogs play fetch because it mimics hunting behavior, but it's also fun. It makes them happy. Happy, Mirai repeated the word carefully. We do not think much about happiness. We think about strength, honor, survival. Your species thinks differently. We think about those things too, but we learned that happiness makes packs stronger. Happy pack members work better together. They fight harder to protect each other. So we value it. Bowman approached from the main building. Captain Elder Voth requests your presence. He says it's urgent. Deho nodded. He started to walk away, but Krell whined and followed. The young Vrax did not like being separated from him. You stay here, Deho said firmly, pointing at the ground. Stay. Krell sat immediately, though he whined again. His eyes looked sad. Deho felt bad, but he needed to handle this meeting alone. He turned and walked away. Behind him, Krell remained sitting, obeying the command even though he did not want to. Mireille stared at her son. How did you make him obey? I cannot even do that. His father cannot do that. But you say one word and he listens. It's about trust, Deho said. He knows I won't hurt him. He knows I care about him, so he wants to make me happy by obeying. That's how pack hierarchy works. Not through fear, but through respect and love. The meeting chamber was full. More elders had arrived, summoned from across the planet. They sat in their traditional circle, scales gleaming in the light. Deho entered and bowed respectfully. His armor had been repaired, but he chose not to wear it today. A gesture of trust, Captain Deho, Elder Voth greeted him. Thank you for coming. We have discussed your words for many hours. We have debated and argued. Now we have questions. I'll answer what I can, Deho said. An elder with scarred scales spoke first. You said humans domesticated wolves. Have you done this with other predators? Yes, cats, hawks, horses. We even work with dolphins in our oceans. Any animal that's smart enough to learn we can usually befriend. Could you do this to us? Another elder asked bluntly. Could you domesticate the Vrax? The room went very quiet. This was the question they all feared. If humans could turn their young ones into loyal pets, what did that mean for their species? Were they in danger? Deho chose his words carefully. I could probably bond with individual Vrax like I did with Krell. But domesticate your whole species? No, that takes thousands of years of selective breeding. It requires controlling who reproduces and who doesn't. And more importantly, I would never try. The Vrax are people, not animals. You have language, culture, technology. You're our equals, not our pets. Some tension left the room, but the questions continued. What about in war? A warrior asked. If we fought your species, could you turn our soldiers against us? Probably not in the middle of battle, Deho admitted. What I did with Krell takes time and the right circumstances. But in a long conflict? Maybe. We could capture your soldiers and work on them. Show them kindness, give them food and comfort. Eventually some might switch sides. It's happened in human wars. We call them prisoners who defect. This is a terrifying ability, an old female said. You can destroy loyalty itself. You can make allies of enemies. How do we defend against such a thing? By being our friends, Deho said simply. That's why we're here. We don't want to be your enemies. We want to trade, share knowledge, help each other. There's no reason for conflict between our species. Elder Voth leaned forward. But what if there were? What if someday we disagreed about something important? Would you use this weapon against us? I hope it never comes to that. But I'll be honest with you. Yes, we would use every advantage we have. That's what smart predators do. We don't fight fair. We fight to win. The elders exchanged looks. This honesty was refreshing but also frightening. Most species lied about their capabilities, trying to seem weaker than they were. Humans did the opposite. They admitted their strengths openly. There is another matter, Voth said. News of what happened in the plaza has spread. Other species have heard that a human bonded with a Vrax young one. They are asking questions. Some are worried. Some are curious. The Galactic Council wants to know if this changes the balance of power. How so? Deho asked. The Vrax are respected because we are dangerous. Other species fear us. That fear keeps the peace in our sector. But if humans can control us through these bonding techniques, then the fear shifts. Other species might start fearing humans instead. Deho had not considered this. He had been focused on making friends with the Vrax, not on how it would look to the wider galaxy. Politics was always more complicated than it seemed. What do you want me to do? He asked. We want you to demonstrate, Voth said. Publicly, with multiple young ones. We want other species to see that this was not a trick or a fluke. We want them to understand that humans possess this ability naturally. Why? Won't that make things worse? No, Voth said. It will make things clear. Right now everyone is confused and scared. They do not understand what happened. So they imagine the worst. But if they see it clearly, they will understand. And understanding removes fear. A warrior elder added. Also, if you can bond with more of our young, it proves you intend peace. Why would you make friends with our children if you plan to attack us? It would make no sense. Deho saw the logic. Transparency was better than mystery. All right, I'll do it. But I need Dr. Minji there to explain the science. People should understand this is biology, not magic. Agreed, Voth said. We will arrange a gathering. Representatives from many species will attend. You will show them what humans can do. The meeting ended. Deho walked back to the compound, thinking about what was coming. This would be the biggest demonstration of his career. Maybe the biggest moment for humanity's place in the galaxy. Krell was still sitting where Deho had left him, 3 hours earlier. The young Vrax had not moved, obeying the command perfectly. When he saw Deho, he bounded over, making happy sounds. Deho laughed and rubbed his scales. Good boy. Such a good boy, Mirai watched from nearby. 3 hours he sat there, not moving, waiting for you. I have never seen such loyalty. That's the power of the bond, Deho said. Once you establish it, it's incredibly strong. Krell trusts me completely now. He would wait for me forever if I asked. Teach me, Mirai said suddenly. Teach me how to do this with my son. I want to understand. Over the next few days, Deho taught Mirai the basics. How to read body language, how to give rewards and praise, how to establish boundaries without cruelty, how to make Krell feel loved while still maintaining authority. Mirai was a quick learner. Soon she could make Krell obey with a word or gesture. The young Vrax was happy to have both his mother and his new pack leader giving him attention. His behavior improved dramatically. He stopped being aggressive with other young ones. He listened to adults. He became a model of good behavior. Other Vrax parents noticed. They started asking questions. Could humans teach them too? Could they learn these techniques? Word spread beyond the capital. Vrax from other cities wanted to meet the humans. They wanted to see the magic that turned wild young ones into obedient companions. The request for a demonstration grew larger. Now dozens of species wanted to attend, not just a few. The Galactic Council officially requested that Earth send a delegation. They wanted to understand human capabilities better. They wanted to assess if humans were a threat or an opportunity. Deho received orders from Earth Command. Make the demonstration successful. Show the galaxy what humans could do. But don't be threatening. Be friendly, approachable. Make them want to be our allies, not our enemies. No pressure, Deho thought. Just the future of humanity resting on how well I can pet some alien predators. The Grand Arena held 50,000 Virax and representatives from 30 different species. Ships filled the sky, coming from every corner of the galaxy. The event had grown beyond anyone's expectations. Everyone wanted to see the humans who could tame predators with kindness. Deho stood in a preparation room under the arena. With him were Bowman, Dr. Minji, and 5 other human specialists. They had spent 2 weeks training for this moment. Everything needed to be perfect. Nervous? Bowman asked, checking his equipment one more time. Terrified, Deho admitted. What if it doesn't work? What if the young ones don't respond? Minji looked up from her datapad. It will work. We've tested it with 12 different young Virax over the past 2 weeks. The success rate is 100%. The biology doesn't lie. Biology is one thing. Politics is another. A knock on the door. Elder Voth entered, followed by Mirai and Krell. The young Vrax immediately ran to Deho, pressing against his legs. Over the past 3 weeks, their bond had only grown stronger. The arena is full, Voth said. The council representatives are in their seats. The broadcast is ready to transmit to 1 billion worlds. Are you prepared? Deho took a deep breath. As prepared as I can be. Good, remember this is not just a demonstration. This is a message. You are showing the galaxy what humans represent. Make it count. They walked through the tunnel toward the arena floor. The sound of 50,000 voices grew louder with each step. When they emerged into the light, the noise was overwhelming. Vrax roared their traditional greeting. Other species made their own sounds. The arena shook with the weight of so much anticipation. A platform stood in the center, raised so everyone could see. Screens floated in the air, showing magnified views for those sitting far away. Deho walked to the platform, his team following. Krell stayed at his side, calm despite the crowd. In the VIP section, Deho could see the council representatives. The insectoid Chithin ambassador. The aquatic Narine in their water tank. The massive stone-like Graven. The fox-like Eulerin. Dozens of species all watching with their various forms of eyes. Ambassador Hyegen stepped forward. She had arrived from Earth 3 days ago. a senior diplomat sent to handle the political aspects. She wore formal robes and carried herself with quiet confidence. "Distinguished representatives," she said, her voice amplified across the arena. "Thank you for attending. Today you will witness something unprecedented, not a demonstration of weapons or technology, but of understanding, of empathy, of the bonds that can form between different species." She gestured to Deho. "Captain Deho will show you how humans interact with predators. This is not magic. It is not mind control. It is simply an ability we developed over millions of years on our homeworld. The ability to see other creatures as individuals, to understand their needs, and to form relationships based on mutual trust." Minji activated her display. Images of Earth appeared, showing the planet's dangerous wildlife. Earth is classified as a Class 4 death world, one of the most dangerous environments in known space. Humans evolved there not as the strongest predators but as the smartest. We survived by adapting, by learning, and by forming alliances. More images showed humans with dogs, cats, horses, birds. We domesticated over 40 species. We made predators into partners. This is not unusual behavior for us. This is normal. This is what humans do. Hyejin nodded to Deho. "Captain, please proceed." Deho stepped forward. "I'm going to work with 6 young Vraks today. They've never met me before. They've been kept separated so they come to this with no preconceptions. Watch carefully. What you'll see is real interaction, not a rehearsed performance." Gates opened around the arena floor. 6 young Vraks emerged, each from a different entrance. They were all around Krell's age, still growing into their adult bodies. They looked around nervously at the massive crowd. The young ones saw Deho. Their instincts kicked in. These creatures did not know humans. To them, Deho might be prey, might be threat, might be something else entirely. They approached cautiously, spreading out to surround him. The crowd went silent. This was the moment. Would the young Vraks attack like Krell had? Would the human be torn apart in front of billions of viewers? Deho sat down on the ground, a submissive posture, making himself smaller and less threatening. He extended his hands, palms up, showing he had no weapons. "Come here," he called softly. "It's okay. I'm a friend." The closest young one crept forward. It sniffed the air, trying to understand what Deho was. Its claws extended, ready for danger. But Deho did not move. He just sat there, patient and calm. The young Vraks touched its nose to Deho's hand. The human's scent was strange, but not threatening. Deho slowly reached up and touched the creature's head, scratching gently between the scales. The young one froze. Then, amazingly, it leaned into the touch. A purring sound started in its chest. Within seconds, it was nuzzling against Deho's shoulder, wanting more attention. The other 5 young ones saw this. If one human was safe, maybe they were all safe. They approached more boldly. Soon Deho was surrounded by young Vraks, all trying to get his attention at once. He laughed and petted each one, finding the spots they liked best. The arena erupted in noise. Vraks roared their approval. Other species made sounds of amazement. On screens across the galaxy, billions watched as a single human sat peacefully among 6 predators that could easily kill him. Hyejin spoke over the noise. "This is humanity's gift to the galaxy. Not weapons of war, but bridges of understanding. We do not seek to dominate other species. We seek to befriend them." Deho stood up. The young Vraks followed him, staying close. He walked them through basic commands. Sit, stay, come. The young ones obeyed, eager to please this strange creature who made them feel good. "These are not slaves," Deho said. "They obey because they choose to. Because we have formed a bond based on trust and positive reinforcement. I give them affection and praise. They give me loyalty and cooperation. Both sides benefit," he gestured to his team. The other human specialists stepped forward. Each one took a young Vraks and began their own bonding session. Within minutes, all 6 young ones were responding to different humans, showing that this was not a unique ability of Deho's but something any trained human could do. Minji continued the explanation. "The key is understanding body language and emotional cues. Humans are exceptionally good at this. We can read facial expressions, posture, tone of voice. We can sense what another creature is feeling and respond appropriately. This makes us natural ambassadors between species." In the VIP section, the ambassadors talked among themselves. The Chithan representative clicked its mandibles thoughtfully. If humans can bond with Vraks this easily, what about other predator species? Could they do this with our warriors? The Narine ambassador's voice bubbled from its tank. More importantly, could they do this with any species? Even non-predators? Could they become universal mediators? The Graven, who communicated through vibrations, sent its message through a translator. This changes the balance. Humans are not the weakest species. They may be the most dangerous because they can make others serve them willingly. Ambassador Heejin heard these whispers. She addressed them directly. We understand your concerns. Yes, humans could potentially bond with many species, but we offer this as a tool for peace, not control. We want to help species understand each other better, to reduce conflicts through empathy and communication. She gestured to the arena floor where Daeho and the young Vrax were playing together, running and jumping. Look at them. That is not control. That is friendship. That is joy. That is what we offer the galaxy. Elder Voth stood from his seat. The Vrax have discussed this at length. We were afraid at first. We thought humans might use this ability against us. But we have seen the truth. Humans make friends, not slaves. They seek cooperation, not domination. The Vrax proudly announce our formal alliance with humanity. We will stand together as equals and partners. The announcement shocked the arena. The Vrax were offering a military alliance with humanity, a species most considered weak. This was unprecedented. Other ambassadors stood. The Yularan representative spoke. The Yularan Collective also wishes to establish closer ties with humanity. We value their diplomatic skills. The Narine bubbled their agreement. The Oceanic Council extends friendship to Earth. One by one, species stood and declared their interest in working with humans, not because they feared humanity's military might, but because they saw the value in human social abilities. In a galaxy full of conflicts and misunderstandings, humans could be bridges between different cultures. Daeho watched this unfold with amazement. They had come to make friends with the Vrax. Now they were forming alliances with dozens of species, all because he had petted a young predator who attacked him. Krell pushed against his leg, wanting attention. Daeho rubbed his head absently. You started all this, you know? If you hadn't attacked me that first day, none of this would have happened. Mirai stood nearby with other Vrax parents. They were watching human specialists teach them bonding techniques to use with their own young. The humans were generous with their knowledge, showing Vrax parents how to communicate better with their children. This is revolutionary, Mirai said to Hyojin. You are changing how we raise our young, how we think about relationships, how we see the universe.